It was about 2 a.m. when the sound of the front door clicking shut pulled me from a restless half-sleep. I'd been tossing for hours, tangled in thoughts that refused to settle. The house felt heavier than usual, silence pressing in from every corner. Then came her footsteps, slow, deliberate, cautious, and a tightness gripped my chest as I realized she was awake too. She appeared in the hallway, her face shadowed by frustration, and something else I couldn't quite name. The dim light from the kitchen stretched across her figure, revealing neatly packed bags by the doorway, quiet and final. "I got the attention I wanted," she said, her voice low, sharp, almost proud. I watched her calmly, feeling no anger, no urge to shout. This moment didn't demand fury. It demanded clarity, boundaries I had already learned to uphold. My eyes drifted to bags, and I offered a slow, deliberate nod. That was enough. The choice had been made long before she spoke the words. For a heartbeat, memories flickered. Quiet nights, small sacrifices, words swallowed by both of us. This wasn't about attention or betrayal. It was about respect, about recognizing your own worth. I didn't need explanations, apologies, or excuses. I only needed to honor what I already knew. Some moments reveal who you are, not by what you say, but by what you choose not to say. Tonight, my choice was simple. I wouldn't chase. I wouldn't beg. I wouldn't break. Confusion flickered across her face as her own words began to settle in. The silence between us was louder than any argument we'd ever had. She lingered at the doorway, shifting her weight, perhaps waiting for me to erupt, for some dramatic scene to validate her expectations. But I stayed still, letting the silence stretch, letting her actions speak louder than words ever could. Words can wound, but silence, anchored in conviction, cuts deeper. She expected confrontation, maybe tears, maybe collapse. She was wrong. I stepped back slightly, my composure steady, my gaze unwavering. The bags didn't move. They didn't need to. They were more than belongings. They were boundaries, firm and undeniable, finally acknowledged. No anger remained, only quiet certainty. True strength isn't found in yelling. It's in knowing your limits and standing by them. Her voice softened, uncertainty creeping in her pride at Saturday. "You're okay with this?" she asked, hesitant, unprepared for my calm. I didn't answer immediately. My eyes scanned the room, the life we had built now condensed into this single moment. Slowly, realization dawned on her. This wasn't about attention or winning. It was about respect. And that line had already been crossed. When I finally spoke, my voice was steady and clear. "Your bags are by the door. The rest is up to you." Simple words, yet weighted with the authority of someone who understands the value of self-respect. She froze, perhaps for the first time realizing that no apology or manipulation could undo what had already been done. The air felt dense, but I was calm, measured, final. She looked at me, really looked, and something shifted in her eyes. Arrogance faded, replaced by uncertainty and a flicker of regret she hadn't anticipated. I didn't gloat. I didn't console. I simply stood there, letting silence speak. Some lessons aren't taught with words. They arrive through stillness, through the quiet acknowledgement of consequence. She seemed on the verge of speaking, an apology, an excuse, maybe even a plea, but no words formed. Instead, she exhaled slowly, her eyes drifting to the carefully packed bag at her feet. The truth settled in. The game she had tried to play ended not in drama, but in quiet finality. I gave her nothing to twist, nothing to challenge, nothing to control. That was the power she never saw coming. Turning toward the living room, I walked away. Each step lifted a weight from my shoulders. There was no satisfaction in her regret, only clarity. She had carved her space outside my life, and I had no desire to reclaim it. Balance often returns quietly, without spectacle. By the time I sank into the chair, the house was still again. Her bags remained by the door, a silent reminder of choices made, consequences faced, and boundaries finally respected. No yelling, no pleading, no lingering, just the truth. Respect cannot be demanded. It must be freely given. And when it isn't, it is quietly reclaimed. That night, the lesson was unmistakable. Dignity doesn't shout. Resilience doesn't rush. Both speak softly, and neither ever wavers.